I've watched my share of Bollywood movies. One of the first ones I remembered was QSQT. How many folks remember that when that came out? So that was a
Qayamat se Qayamat tak,
yeah,
right?
like, all right,
Oh.
yes.
What's your go-to Indian comfort food?
It's hard to pick one. It's everything from jalebis. They've made great jalebis for me here to chaat, Lucknowi chaat, golgappas, all of that is my comfort food. When I first started at YouTube in India, the number of channels that had more than 1 million subs was 11. Today, that number is over 11,000. $70 billion paid out to the creator ecosystem over the last 3 years.
I hope all of us get like 2-3 million subscribers as a celebration gift.
Done. Let's make it happen.
Good morning, everyone. And thank you, Neal, for the first ever creator summit in India. So guys, having an Indian CEO finally helps. I hope all of us get like 2-3 million subscribers as a celebration gift.
Done. Let's make it happen.
We'll make sure the global office doesn't know about it. Neal, we know that you have a special connection with India. You know, a part of your youth you've spent here. What are some of the striking differences that you've seen, over the years when it comes to India?
That's a great question. So first of all, Kamiya, thank you for having me. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I was born and grew up in the Midwest of the U.S. for a bunch of my childhood, and then I moved back to India for high school, and that was many decades ago, not to show my age here, but the world has obviously changed dramatically. And I would say this, the overwhelming impression really for the last few days for me here, as you and I were talking about a little bit backstage, is how incredibly vibrant our creator ecosystem is here. And I mean all of you as creators, the up-and-coming creators, musicians, artists, all of the people that we work with, all the brands that many of you will get a chance to interact with later today. It's just so vibrant, and every conversation I have is really about the future. Where can we take things to the next level? As you all know, India is YouTube's largest market, fastest growing market, and I think we're just getting started. So it's super exciting.
You know, we as content creators or YouTubers, every morning when we wake up, the first thing we check is the number of subscribers we got and the dollars we earned yesterday. I want to know.
No pressure on all the product people in the room here.
I want to know how, or rather, what does the CEO of YouTube check the first thing in the morning as a part of your daily routine?
That's a good question. Well, I happen to be a sports nut, so it's probably some sports score from overnight from whatever sport that I'm watching. But I think I would say more generally, to kind of expand your question, I really focus on a couple of things in my role. The first, and I think the most exciting part of my job, is to get to meet our awesome YouTubers like you, and just as we were talking about earlier, just understanding your journey, your business, what you're focused on, what your needs are. I always say this, and all the people on my team here will know this because they've heard it from me a million times, is our YouTubers know our product and our service better than anybody. And so that is where I get a lot of my inspiration and insights from. And I have a product background myself, so I still am very, very involved in, a lot of the key product decisions we make, features, new products, and those types of things. And that's really the weekly cadence of a lot of how I spend my time.
Okay, so you just mentioned about how you've been involved in building the product. How have you seen the creator economy really evolve?
The creator economy, just in the last decade, has grown at a pace that I couldn't have even imagined. I mean, Gautam mentioned the number earlier, but $70 billion paid out to the creator ecosystem over the last 3 years. Of course, we are an ad-supported business. That's a big part. Brands really do want to be in the middle of the connection between all of you and your audiences all over the world. But we have introduced subscription services. So we're an SVOD business as well, and that I think is a big economic opportunity for our creators. And then we want to continue to layer on top of that. So direct-to-consumer models like fan funding, related options like channel membership, super chat, super stickers, and a lot of things that we're working on there. And I'm excited about building further on top of that. Many of you I know work with brand sponsors around branded content, sponsored content. What are the ways that YouTube can support that, both in terms of generating demand, but also helping fulfill that demand? And then finally, and an area where I really think India will lead is in the area of video commerce and shopping. And so I think the creator economy has grown dramatically in the last 9 years, but I think we're just getting started again. I think these new business models will layer on top of the various economic opportunities we provide on the platform.
We're not complaining. We want more monetization opportunities.
Good, yes.
There are new creators breaking out every day, right? And where we question our relevancy in the space. What I would like to know is, do you think the space is too crowded, or is there room for everyone? Or what do we do to stay relevant till the last day of our lives?
You know, you could have asked that same question 10 years ago and look at what's happened to the ecosystem. And I think that 10 years from now, we will all be surprised at how big it's gotten. I mean, I remember when I first started at YouTube in India, the number of channels that had more than 1 million subs was 11. 11 channels had more than 1 million subscribers. Today, that number is over 11,000.
Wow. And that's just in India.
Just in India. And you know, as you know, I mean, this, as I said, this is our largest market. Some of our most successful creators in the world are here. But 11 to 11,000 is remarkable. I, even as like the eternal optimist on the future of YouTube, would not have been able to predict that. And I imagine that it will only grow from here. And despite that growth, you know, you could call that crowded. Look at all the opportunity that's been afforded to all of our creators here. And so I really think that that's the way to think about it.
Wow, so 11,000 content creators with 1 million plus subscribers, and we have the top 100 YouTubers right here. So if anything happens to the room, the economy, the creator economy is definitely going to be shaken out.
You know, I was in a meeting earlier, and I think one of my colleagues said that there's probably about 1 billion subscribers worth of audience in here. So no pressure on all of you. Yes.
With that large number, I want to know, what is YouTube's overall vision and strategy going forward? And where does India stack up there?
Our mission is to give everyone a voice and show them the world. That's really, when you meet somebody who works at YouTube, that's what we get up in the morning, and that's what we're thinking about. And so, so my vision, and I think that that's sort of the shared vision across YouTube, is to be the best streaming platform for creating, sharing, and watching video, whether that's a 15-second short to a 15-minute VOD to a 15-hour live stream. That is really what we aspire to, and everything that we're building and every type of service that we provide to all of you is really oriented around that type of a goal. First of all, it's the pioneer in terms of lots of trends that might start here that become global. Many of you do that in terms of new types of creativity and content. But this is also a market where we actually bring our products to first. So YouTube Shorts launched first in India 4 years ago. It was a product that was built for this audience in mind. And now it has trillions of views thanks to all of you. So it's really amazing. Yeah.
If you can give us some insights into any new tools that are coming up that can help us creators flourish further and convert our passion into profits or paycheck.
Yeah, I mean, I think they really, a lot of them fall, again, driven by feedback that we've gotten from all of you, fall into those buckets. So in terms of creator tools, YouTube Create is a standalone app that I think you all should pay attention to, should play around with. That product will continue to get better. Tools that we're continuing to build into Studio, everything from idea creation, helping you think about new creative ideas, new ways of actually reporting and getting insights about what your audience is interested in. So around creation, there's a whole category. Of course, everything that we're doing behind the plus button, in the mobile camera itself, of course, for shorts, but other forms of videos as well. Around community, one of the other areas that I would really encourage you all to really think about in terms of your strategy is how do you think about your audience in between your videos? So, of course, everything from posts, how do you use shorts in between your VODs? We have new formats like vertical live streams. We're investing a lot in things like podcasts and audio, so that sort of realm. And then finally, of course, continue to push us on the monetization front.
You've been advocating that creators get recognition as creative professionals. Earlier this year, we did have the Indian government actually doing an award for creators, which is one of its kind.
Yeah. And congrats to you on all the...
Thank you.
Yes, yes.
So what I want to know is, do we see more opportunities for creators to get more recognition in award forums? And why just India, even at an international platform? Because creators are no less, when it comes to contributing to the entertainment industry. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that. I'm a really big believer in it. Some of you may have seen I wrote this op-ed in the Hollywood Reporter, it was focused on the Emmys, but the concept I think applies globally, which is if you are in the Academy or any of these award academies, then my argument was that in order for your award to actually remain relevant, especially for younger viewers all over the world, then YouTubers, creators have to be front and center in terms of people that you're recognizing. And so again, I think that that's an example of where India sort of has led the way. I think that we still have a lot more work to do. You can count on the YouTube team, all the SPMs and everybody that you all work with to continue to really push on that front, because I think we still have to push on that. But the way I think about it is, think about it from the perspective of a viewer, a fan of yours, an audience member, especially a young audience member. They don't distinguish between your content and what is creator-generated versus studio-generated. That's like a kind of an artificial construct, a line that might come from sort of a legacy way of thinking about it, and that's irrelevant in today's world. As you all know, you're defining that. And so that's why I think it's so important to continue to push on that aspect of recognition. I think it's important for our community. I think it's important in terms of sort of economic fairness in terms of the space. And frankly, I think it's sort of just a more accurate reflection of fandom and audiences out there.
Even in terms of languages, that India has so many languages to offer. We often hear of this conversation happening. But what is it that we could do in terms of have multiple channels with different languages, or what is this recommendation that you would have there?
Yeah, I mean, I'll say, one of the sort of broad themes that I see that I think is really exciting is all that we can do with AI. Languages is one of them. So at this point, especially at creators of your size, one of the biggest barriers for you to grow your audience is language. And so one of the capabilities that we're working on at YouTube in partnership with our sister companies like Google DeepMind is multitrack audio, being able to do that through tools like Aloud and being able to do that automatically in many language pairs. Ultimately, we want to get to all sort of language pairs where if you're producing content in one language, it should be able to give you not just all the other Indian languages, but why not, Spanish and Portuguese and what have you. Right. And it will be amazing to see how your audience can expand, because oftentimes the barrier is not cultural, it's language in terms of growing that audience. And so I think that's an opportunity that AI will create that I'm very excited about and where we're going to invest in a lot. The other one that I would just mention, again, related to AI, is specifically around generative AI. So some of you may have seen we've launched the experiment here, Dream Screen, which is text to image, ultimately text to video. So being able to actually have a concept in your head that you can articulate and have that turn into an image or a video.
Here we have the 100 best YouTubers. I'm not sure if you're going to give us 2 or 3 million subscribers, like you said. But I do want
That's
to know.
not in my control. That's in your control.
So if we want to know what are the upcoming trends, like we've seen YouTube have a journey from long form to short form and now a mix of both. If you can give us an insight as to what are the emerging trends or technologies that are exciting you the most and that we as the Creator Summit participants can cash in on.
I'll call out two that are very top of mind for me, and we've touched on some of that in the conversation already. But the first I'll say is connected TV and the living room. That is, as I said, our fastest growing surface. Our audience in India on connected TVs has grown 4x in the last 3 years. The number of top creators who generate the largest portion of their audience from connected TVs has grown 400% in the last year. And so there's enormous growth as it relates to connected TV. So think about that in terms of your strategies. I would say at the highest level, it shouldn't change the way that you think about your content, how you go about your content, but it is something that you should be aware of in terms of where your audience is. So that's a really big area. A lot of what you expect and experience on the mobile phone on YouTube, you should expect in the living room. So connected TV is sort of one thing. It's also an area where we're working very closely with brands and advertisers because, of course, that's an attractive surface for them. So from a branded content standpoint, advertising standpoint, it's a big opportunity.
So I'm going to ask you some fun questions.
Okay.
Okay. And the audience is going to decide whether you're Desi or not.
Okay, let's
Okay.
see. Wow.
So first things first. What's your go-to Indian comfort food?
It's hard to pick one. It's everything from jalebis, they've made great jalebis for me here, to chaat, Lucknowi chaat, golgappas, all of that is my comfort food. Do I pass? Okay. All right.
So have you ever traveled miles to find an Indian restaurant?
Fortunately, where I live in the Bay Area, there are lots of great Indian restaurants. I haven't had to travel miles, but whenever my family travels, we really do seek out Indian restaurants.
Have you ever streamed a cricket match at odd hours because of time difference?
I have. They happen to be obviously oftentimes at odd hours. My neighbor where I live happens to be somebody who grew up in India as well. We've exchanged emails about getting together or texts about getting together at like 1 a.m. to watch cricket finals, including the last year's one-day finals.
Okay, that's good to know. Okay, so what are your must-have Indian grocery items that you always stack up at your home?
Oh, lots of Haldiram snacks. It's like if you look at our pantry, it's full of them. So lots of those.
Do you get excited when you find Indian mangoes in your local grocery store?
The good news is that there are lots of mangoes available. You don't get every Indian variety. Believe it or not, there used to be a service that would actually fly freshly picked Alfonso mangoes from Mumbai all the way to the Bay Area. So those obviously you don't get like that class of mangoes. So I seek those out whenever I can get them. But there are lots of mangoes available, fortunately.
Do you know a couple of variants? Can you name them for us?
Let's see. The sherry, which is, Lucknow, yes, for sure. Obviously, Alfonso. Which ones? Safeda, Langra, yeah. There's the one that you can,
Chusa.
yeah, Chusa, yes. There you go. You got them all. Yes, those are all the ones I know.
We've helped
I'm
you,
sure there's
Noel.
more, but
Okay, now that we've helped our Indian CEO, Indian
Okay.
CEO gets to help us also, right? When
yes,
it comes to
yeah, let me know.
subs.
Yes,
Okay, do you celebrate Indian festivals back home, and which ones?
sure, yeah. I mean, obviously, of course, Diwali. We really celebrate all of them. Actually,
To be truly Desi, you have to be a Bollywood buff also, right? So do you own a collection of Bollywood movies or music CDs or DVDs from back in the day?
I'm not sure I have the DVDs anymore. I don't think I have them for let alone Bollywood or any movies, but I've watched my share of Bollywood movies. One of the first ones I remembered, which was like the big sort of coming of age hit. Now you can guess exactly how old I am, was QSQT. How many folks remember that when that came out? So that was a big
Kayamat
hit.
se Kayamat tak,
Yeah,
right?
like, all right,
Oh.
yes. Now you can pinpoint exactly how old I am because that was a big hit when I was of coming of age. But yes, I mean, the good news, of course, of the world of streaming, like we've been talking about, is all of them are available all over the world, and so that's very exciting.
Any favorite actor or actress?
I grew up watching Amir Khan, and so did my family. So that's one that I'll call out.
Amazing. I think you've passed this check.
Okay, all
We are
right, good.
glad to
Yes.
know that
Yes,
our
yes.
Indian CEO is Desi. And we hope to have many
glad
more
I
Indian-
passed, yes,
You
yes.
do,
That
yes.
was,
He passes, right, guys? Okay. I think we all want a selfie with you for sure.
Awesome, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
so
a
let's
big
get
room.
a
How are we
selfie.
gonna,
Yeah.
all right. Well, you're the pro. I'll let you lead the way.
Right. And we'll tag you.
You can. Yes,
You'll get a lot of
tag me.
subscribers after that.
I'm sure I will. Yes.
Okay.
All right.
All right.